One of my favorite hypotheticals we've ever done was like, could I win the Masters if I started on the edge of every single green?
Yeah, no chance. Zero.
Isn't that insane?
Nah.
No chance?
Fore Players by Barstool Sports, brought to you by our great friends at Chevy. We love Chevy. We love EVs. Our leases are up. We're going to be in the Chevys finally. I can't wait. Can't wait to get that Silverado puppy going. It's got a giant bed. It's the history and how good the Silverado's been forever. Now, bang, we got the EV situation going on. So we love Chevy. We love being in the future. The future's good. Big show. We got Jon Rahm on the show. I'll be honest. I thought this would be like 25, 30 minutes, kind of a classic media hit. It turned into over an hour of me and Frankie just shooting the shit with Jon Rahm.
It was incredible. Best player on the planet, Masters champion, a guy that we never thought we'd have a relationship with just because of the way that we've kind of gone about things and said, you know, we're a very reactionary podcast. If someone's pissing us off or if we see something on the coverage, we're going to talk about it on the pod. And then you meet a guy like Jon and he's so opinionated and so just like the way that he is so passionate about golf and genuinely cares about the way we're doing things too. He seems like he's a big fan and he never really realized the reach that we had. And he's even talked to like Josh Isner and our friends and guys that we know. And he's like, I didn't know that like that podcast would have such a big impact on like the way people saw me and shit. Like he had no idea. And now going forward, I think you could tell in this interview, he really gets it. And he had a good time. Fucking crazy that we talked to that guy for an hour.
It was great. It was on Friday. So I know people are listening to this on Tuesday. On Friday, we had him, and he just shot the shit. Frankie was able to get a couple Big Bang Theory questions in.
That's right.
We're traveling all over the place. So we've got Trent's coming back from the Zurich Classic right now. Barstool Sportsbook was the official gaming partner of the Zurich Classic. I'm about to take over the Riggs West Coast swing of the Barstool Classic. We've got 4 Barstool Classics in the next 8 days. We got 2 in Arizona. We got 1 in San Diego. We got another one in Palm Springs. So we're going to be traveling all over the place. So we're recording this Sunday. It's just myself and Frankie. Rahm actually chirps us a little bit for the whole crew not showing up. But again, we got people moving. We're filming videos this week. Speaking of videos, and we're going to make most of this show about Jon Rahm because he just won the Masters. He's the number 1 ranked player in the world. He's our guy. He's cool. He likes I love that he was aware that we would really talk shit about him, basically, about how we called him a lunatic, and he laughs and is very very aware of that and commented on that. He chirped me about the no stress thing. So he's plugged into all of it, which I fucking love. And he's an awesome dude and he's come a long way. I think people love him now. He spoke a lot about how clear it is to him that the tides have shifted a little bit, how much fanfare he's getting now, how much it means to him. So awesome interview. On the logistics front, administrative front, we got a big video coming out Wednesday. We have probably, if people remember back to like October, I think we filmed these. We spoke about being at TaylorMade Media Day, and we have Scotty and Tommy Fleetwood, and they're in this video. We got all these guys, and we spoke about how we decided to get a little bit wackier this year. Like we kind of came up with a plan and had a whack. This is the wackiest video I think we've ever filmed.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big one. I know that we really hype up the 4-man scrambles. We really hype up breaking 90. The Scotty video it's on its way to 1 million views. The one club, and obviously everything we do with Colin Morikawa is huge. Tommy Fleetwood, every time we do a video with him is huge. This time we had even more time with Scotty Scheffler and Tommy Fleetwood. So on top of the videos we always do with them, we said we have this idea where we're going to see how we can make golf a little bit more athletic. We always have the argument, is it a sport? Is it an activity? Is it a hobby? So we incorporated essentially a obstacle course into the game of golf. So it was it was 2v2?
It was 3v3 if you include the professionals. So
okay, right. So exactly.
Scotty, Tommy, and then the 4 of us.
4 of us, yep. And basically it was like tag team obstacle course. We had to do a lot of activities. The pros had to hit a bunch of ridiculous shots, including having to hit targets and hit the green from ridiculous places and have to hit awesome shots that, you would only see a pro hit. And then we had to do outrageous fucking physical activities. It's hilarious. Scotty Scheffler gets so into it. We have We have a Masters champion and Tommy Fleetwood sprinting down fairways, laughing legitimately uncontrollably, like trying to get these tasks done. And it was, I'm telling you right now, you're going to watch these guys in a light that you've never seen them before. I love watching videos like this where you see the guy that you watch on TV do things that you would only see him do that on a foreplay video. So Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 o'clock Central, if you're watching on YouTube. We're going to be in the chat. We're going to premiere it. We'll be talking about it. We're going to send it to Tommy. We're going to send it to Scotty. They'll probably be watching it live. It's a very fun video. Yeah, it's great. It's you have to be ready for it because it's a big one, dude. And we also never talked about the Colin Morikawa video because we didn't want to spoil it, but we said we were going to get a little bit wackier with these videos. And the last one that we just did with Colin Morikawa is legitimately, I think, the funniest video we ever come out with. We did punishment pies where if we didn't hit the green from, what was it, 150 yards out? If we didn't hit
it was
the
like
green,
150 because I want to say he had like a 9 or an 8 iron or something because it was into the wind.
Yep, we had to hit the green. And if we didn't, he would pie us in the face. And then he said, I'll do it the challenge as well. If I don't hit the green, you guys can pie me in the face. And
Best
we're like,
iron player
holy
in
shit.
the world.
Best iron player in the world. The guy can hit the green with his fucking eyes closed. There's literally, he doesn't need to even think. He could just turn his brain off and hit the green in regulation. He's 150 yards out. He steps off and onto the ball 4 or 5 times, changes his club, talks about the wind direction. Dude, the you could just tell the tenseness in his brain. And obviously, you guys have seen, like, he's had a couple moments in real professional golf where he's like come down to like the pressure and things have gotten to him. And, you know, people are chirping him on Twitter about now this video and YouTube. He fucking just missed the green, hit it into the water, never even had a chance. I would argue it's like the worst shot he's ever hit in his life.
Dude,
and
I
you
think
could
Dan
make the
said
argument that
Dan, Dan's around a lot and knows him decently well. And Dan was like, I've never seen him hit a shot that bad in my whole life.
And it was the pressure of not wanting to get pied. And I got to be able to take a fucking cream pie and just smack it in Colin Morikawa's face. He had the rest of the day, he had to have fucking whipped cream up his nose, in his hair. He had to do
People were
legitimate,
not happy. Like his team was not happy about it.
He had to do commercials. He had to get into like clothes with Tiger Woods and like do like legit like Nike like commercials, like actual commercials. Like it was crazy. Yeah, so that video is also on YouTube, but we're kind of rolling right now with the TaylorMade guys. So yeah, Wednesday, 7 o'clock. It's a little bit more of that. It's a lot of fun.
Shout out to TaylorMade. They make all this happen. They bring us down there. We get to partner up with their guys, and they pretty much give us free reign and say, all right, you get this guy for a half hour or an hour. What are you guys going to do? And credit to Frankie, came up kind of with this obstacle course idea. Mike Essie and the whole crew from TaylorMade worked really hard to go get all this different shit that we got. Our guys, our producers, we were borrowing camera people, men and women, running down the sidelines of this whole thing. We had drone going on. It was an insane operation, and you don't get another chance to pull it off. It was like, this is going to take whatever 5 to 10 minutes once we say go, and that's it. You don't get to reshoot it. You don't get to take another angle. You don't get to, like, that's just, we had to do it, and we did it. So the video came out.
I mean, you like broke your ankle. I mean, like, and I'm not going to say whether that helped or didn't help the video, but like you suffered, you're probably your worst injury you've had in like your adult life. I mean, that was an insane injury.
That had to be probably the worst thing that's happened to me physically, like ever. I mean,
dude,
hockey, I had some injuries, but I got through it on the whole because there's adrenaline. There's so much fucking adrenaline. We wanted to win. And then it started to swell up, and I had to drive 2 hours, I believe it was, to Miami airport and then hobble through. And I told that story on the show, I think, about how I was crying walking through the airport. Like the pain was so bad that I was crying that I wanted to get home to Arizona so badly that I'm just walking through. But yeah, I mean, the video too, I remember seeing the footage right afterwards.
It's the noise. The noise that your ankle makes during one of the competitions actually pops so loud, and I hope it comes through on the edit. I don't know, Alex, if it does.
Just wait till you see the edit. That part's incredible. Dude, it's a Kyle Tim special. It's amazing.
The fact that we got that on footage and the noise of his ankle snapping is crazy. So that's Wednesday night. Do not miss it. Thank you to everyone that did subscribe. We shouted out a bunch of names last episode, and they did it. I saw we had like an influx of over 1,000 subscribers just from calling it out on YouTube. So people are listening and they're doing it. So that's fun.
We appreciate it. That's fun. That's fun. You know what's probably not fun, Frankie? You have to get an update. I've been riding the Islanders. I took the one game I took down as money line. They won in OT, and it sucks when your team doesn't make it, obviously. But one thing I did not miss is the stress, the anxiety of that game 3. And now they're down 3-1. You were just at the game. I know that obviously stinks. We're going to get into it. But the anxiety in that game 3, when the Islanders were down 2-0, it's tied late in the third, was so unbelievably intense. And I don't even have a team. And then when they scored, a video of you spazzing out is probably sums up, I think, you more than anything I've ever seen in my entire life. And my brother in my group chat, after the Islanders scored in game 3 and they win, they're like, Frankie must be going crazy. And I just sent them that video. And they every day have resurfaced the video, being like, I think about this video every minute. They fucking love it. But yeah, man, the Islanders are they're not getting the calls. They're not getting the breaks. I feel for you because I'm pulling for the Islanders.
It's the highs and the lows. I'm going crazy when they win, and I'm very, very down when they lose. It's the kind of team that they are right now. They backed into the playoffs, and I know I'm sounding like I'm kind of back into a corner. They're down 3-1. I'm not happy about it. They're taking a lot of penalties, and just the refs don't like this style of play. And it's really fucking shitty to have to talk about officiating. And I feel like I'm shitting a lot. I'm complaining a lot on Twitter, but it's like, it's not about the calls. It's about the fact that they're essentially acting like the way that the Islanders have played for 4 years is like illegal. Like, this has never been an issue where they start games taking 2 penalties in the first 4 minutes. You're on a 5-on-3. All of a sudden, yes, you could just stop the power play. Odds are you're just not going to stop a 5-on-3. It's 2-0 in a fucking heartbeat. The whole entire energy out of the building is sucked out. The Hurricanes play some of the best team defense you'll ever see in like NHL history. Those guys are out of control. Brady Shea, fucking Brent Burns. These guys are nuts. Slavin. They just suck you in. They play Islander style hockey, maybe just a little bit better. And if you're down 2-0, you're just dead. And it's just crazy. It's like goalie interference on a puck that the puck was out of the offensive zone. So it's like, really, what is he interfering at all? He got knocked into the goalie. It's like, how is that interference? Then the Islanders have a power play. And let me talk to you about this real quick. And I'm done complaining after this. Matthew Barzal gets cross-checked. They call cross-checking. Then he gets a 2-minute embellishment call. He went flying into the boards. How could it possibly be a cross-check and an embellishment at the same time? Okay? If you're telling me that the guy got cross-checked, wouldn't he have to then fall to the ground for that? Because if he stood up, if he was strong and he had integrity and he didn't embellish the call, if he was strong on his feet, right, there would never be a cross-check. That would not exist. You're telling me the guy on the ice got cross-checked to the ice. So then how is it a fucking embellishment? How can both those things exist?
I know what you mean. I've always hated when they call both, but I do get it to a degree. Like, the guy could do something illegal and the other guy can embellish it. Even like, he may have been going down, but he tried to sell it harder than he is. In that situation, I don't think they should have called that. I do like in soccer, they don't call both. I don't think they ever could call both. They don't call a dive and a foul. If it's one, I get that it's frustrating. I don't know how it can necessarily both. I've never liked when they do that, but I guess from a logic standpoint, like, I do see that you could do something illegal. Like, you could trip somebody and that person could like flail and sell it as well.
I just think you give the embellishment then. Like, I just don't see how you can say, like, you got cross-checked, but you also just fell a little too hard for my liking. That's crazy. Because now it's just a matter of, like, how that ref feels at that moment. Like, oh, I thought that was bullshit. You're going to the box too. No, it's either one or the other. It's like, you either got cross-checked or you didn't. So if you saw the replay, it's crazy. He literally just gets thrown into the boards. Like, there was no moment for him to like throw his arms up and LeBron it. But whatever. That's not why they lost. They lost 5-1. It's like the game was over. It's like, it doesn't matter. None of that fucking shit. They lost 5-2. None of that shit matters. So it's just it's a shame. Tuesday's a big day. They're down 3-1. We're going back to Borelli. So watch the stream. Stu Finer's been an absolute fucking lunatic. The highs and the lows. Listen, I'm never gonna fucking stop rooting for this team. They're gonna grind. They have a great goalie. They got to start scoring, and we'll be here until we're not. That's just how it's gonna be. If I had to like grade their performance right now, it'd be like a C+. I think that they actually could be playing way better. Their defense has no offensive ability right now. They can't get the puck to the net. And then guys like Horvat and Lee and Barzal are getting shit on by the fans, but they're not touching the puck. You have to touch the puck to be good. And they're not like touching the puck. Like, the D's not moving the puck. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm fucking furious. You can see I'm getting purple in the face right now. I legit have like crazy high blood pressure with this team. This stuff matters to me, man. Like, it matters to me a lot.
You take a nap. I feel like you probably
need a nap. My face is like
rest,
100 degrees. If you look back on the YouTube right now of how red I got when I was just talking about that dive, that embellishment call, I actually looked at my screen and I was like Dude, right now I can feel my face is 100 degrees. It's crazy.
You're redder than the Tiger Woods shot behind you. Like you're literally.
This is like, it's bad. My dad the other day on the ride home was like, you gotta relax, man. Like you're gonna fucking have a heart attack at the age of like 30. So maybe I do need to relax. But
Tuesday's a big day, not just with the Islanders. Obviously, go Islanders. So we're rooting for you, Frankie. We don't want you to lose your mind and die. But we also Barstool Classic. We got some big names at the Barstool Classic on Tuesday.
right.
So I think people are going to see. We got Max Homa, Colt Knost, Johnny Manziel, Corey Kispert, who's a big friend of the program, Jay Feely. I think a few people may have backed out or changed days. But some big names going to be Barstool Classic. So we got a whole crew coming out to capture social, get videos and stuff. So yeah, we're busy. We're all over the place. We got Barstool Classic stuff that'll be coming out all week. And then we got Jon Rahm for the next hour on this show. So I hope people enjoy it. Shout out to Davis Riley, Nick Hardy, win the team event down at the Zurich Barstool Sportsbook. The tent, I saw, we were obviously down there throughout the week. Trent and Marty Mush were there throughout the weekend. Bunch of people signing up. I got to give, speaking of Barstool Sportsbook, just living and dying with Elio, with Mr. Ice. He's been saving me. I've been making some bad plays.
I'm on him tonight. He's got the Oilers tonight, 6-8. I'm on that tonight. Pretty heavy.
That too.
I'm on that pretty heavy. I was like walking out of UBS and I'm thinking, and then like I was just like, I think I'm gonna go pretty heavy on that. Like I think I'm riding with the Iceman tonight for the Oilers. I just can see a nighttime Sunday playoff game just being fucking goal mania.
Good. I'm on that too. I'm on the over tonight. So Elio's been saving us, but Barstool Sportsbook, go check it out. And then also Chevy. Go check out Chevy's website. Before we throw it to Jon Rahm, we got to talk about the Silverado EV. First ever all-electric Silverado. It's the official Barstool's most valuable truck. The commercial, the whole gang, the podcast families of Barstool Sports. We're all in on this thing. We got to drive it. I will say we probably looked more badass than we've ever looked when we were driving that Chevy. Silverado. Oh man, we came out of that thing mean mugging people. I think you kind of have to when you get the Silverado. It's just legit. It's as legit of a vehicle as you get. Available 400-mile range, GM estimated on a full charge, over 10 feet of length of the bed with multi-flex tailgate combined with the multi-flex midgate. You got a large 17-inch diagonal display screen. What do we call that? Our infotainment screen or something like that?
Infotainment screen. That's right.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So they got a 17-incher there. It could tow up to 10,000 pounds of max towing. So I might have to get a boat or something if we're going to be towing things around. 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds with wow mode, up to an impressive 785 foot-pounds of torque. Head over to Chevy.com to learn more. Chevy EVs for everyone, everywhere. Without further ado, let's throw it to the Masters champion, number one ranked player in the world, Jon Rahm. All right, folks. Last time we had this man on the show, which was a couple months ago, the only major championship he's played in since then, he won. We did a little bit of an introduction at the time, and we're not going to redo the whole thing, but I have to add to that intro. So I have to add that he is now the number one ranked player on planet Earth. He is the current, the 2023 Masters champion from Barrica, Spain, which I hope I pronounced that correctly, Jon Rahm.
That was really good. I'm impressed.
They have, like, if you Google it, you can Google pronunciation. So I watched this 30-second thing on how to pronounce it correctly this morning.
Got to learn how to roll your R's real quick. Is that what you were doing?
Yeah. This guy was unreal at rolling his R's that was doing this pronunciation. He was great.
Well, anyway, it's great to be on the show again. Thank you guys for having me.
So we obviously appreciate you coming on. I got to ask you, because last time you were on, you said that you told this whole tale about how everybody thinks you're going to be a big drinker, but you told the tale about being up at Silverleaf, how tequila appears to apparently make you play well. So did you have any tequila during the Masters tournament?
No, I did not. We had it later on to celebrate, but not during the Masters.
Figured you might have had some sense, which is obviously a nice spot to be in. Somebody earlier this week, somebody was telling us, because we saw a Masters flag and they were giving us the rules on where the champion on his year can sign a Masters flag. So are you, even a couple weeks in, up to date on where on your year you can sign your Masters flags?
Me, on my year, in the center of the logo? That's at least what they told me at Augusta, so I'm doing that.
I had never heard that before, but yeah, that's what we heard. We heard that.
Actually, yeah, you cannot. I don't know I don't know if I can sign on a different year's logo. I doubt it. I know before that you can't sign on the logo because not that say it's bad luck, but they reserve that honor for champions. And luckily, it's a logo where you have room to do it in the middle of. But others, yeah, I have no idea. Actually, I haven't asked. But if it's 2023, I'm definitely taking advantage of it.
How has the past couple of weeks been for you? Obviously, you've been in the limelight, winning the U.S. Open and being so big from Spain and having an entire nation behind you. And now all of a sudden you've got America and the Masters, and no matter where you go now, you are a Masters champion. How has the last couple of weeks been? Has it been a crazy jump for you, or have you kind of been business as usual?
I think you got very close right there with what you said. Obviously, when I went to Spain, it was a much bigger reaction to what I get usually in the U.S. I'm not there often, and obviously they make quite a big deal about certain things. When after this win, I've noticed here in the U.S. a massive shift as well. There could be many reasons why, but those cheers and those ovations like on RBC, what I felt when I've left my home here in Scottsdale the last week has been very different. Now, I think it's because it's the Masters. It's maybe the one event that a lot of people that maybe don't watch golf all the time watch. Maybe because it's my second major. Maybe, I don't know what it may be. Maybe the year I've had, all those things combined, it's been very different. It's been really incredible to be embraced by the U.S. crowd as well, the way it's been. It's been amazing.
The answer is because it's the Masters, man. I mean, I've got the flag on my wall. We're wearing it on our chest. It transcends the sport. You are the champion of you are the champion of the Masters tournament. Kids grow up all their lives being like, will I even get a chance to go there and see how green that grass is? And you not only get invited to go play in it, but you win it. Has that always been the goal for you, to win the Masters? Have you always had the Masters circled, or was it just to be the best?
So yes and no, right? I mean, of course you want to win the Masters. It's a lot of Spanish history with it. Every great Spaniard before me has won the Masters. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's been a goal. It's been a goal. Yes. But I think for a lot of Europeans growing up, the Open Championship has a much more, it's a much bigger magnitude than it is here in the US. Obviously in Europe, it's got a lot of tradition for Europeans as well, right? So in my mind, I don't want to insult anyone. The Open Championship was really up there, depending on the venue. Right, like if you can win an Open Championship in St. Andrews, very few things in golf can compare to that. Right, Augusta has a lot of advantages by being always in the same course, same venue, and they can create certain traditions and some history that makes it what it is. But I think the Open, like if you can win an Open at Carnoustie, if you can win an Open at Troon, St. Andrews, Turnberry, even though we don't play Turnberry or Muirfield, there's some iconic golf courses that, to me, would make it very important. I've heard that walk down 18 at the Open, when you have the lead and those crowds stand up and cheer for you, is one of the best walks in golf, right? I don't know. I can't tell you, but I've been told that by Open and Masters champions. So it is important. Now, I also understand why for most of the world, the Masters is the biggest thing. So not that it wasn't on my radar. Obviously it was. I wanted to be a major champion. I wasn't going to be too picky with what came first or if it ever came or not. So, but long story short, it's up there with the Open for me.
Shout out Zach Johnson, St. Andrews and Augusta. He just gets to do both of them.
Very out of control. I mean, you have Seve, Tiger, Zach, and I don't know how many greats have been able to do both of those.
Yeah, there's really not that many.
With Zach Johnson in that list, we've come to know Zach at this point, and he's just the nicest guy of all time. But when you throw Zach Johnson in that list, it makes me laugh every time because you just don't picture, you don't say that list in Zach Johnson very often. That's nothing against him. It's just like you're talking the greats of all time. So that is amazing. Every time I think of him at St. Andrews and Augusta.
You mentioned that walk up 18 at St. Andrews. You got to do the closest thing or something that some people would even consider above it or equal to it, walking up 18 at Augusta with a pretty secure lead after you hit that third shot in and you knew it was pretty much over. For me, I mean, even watching, I'm like standing up in my apartment, and I'm like, I got chills. I'm all excited. Was it, do you remember it? Was it almost an out of body experience? Was it surreal? What are kind of your takeaways now looking back from that moment?
Well, some people might say that the last 5 holes were stress-free and not exciting. So I don't know.
I knew that was coming.
Well, I already said it on another podcast. I had to say it. I'm surprised Adam didn't say anything to you, but
he did. He snuck it in. He takes his hat off. He goes, I wouldn't. It was probably anything but stress free. But and he kind of looked away. No one else caught it.
I asked him. He told me it wasn't on purpose. Like he didn't know.
Oh,
but he's smart enough to know. So I don't know. It was. I can say right now, it was one of the most amazing feelings I think I'll ever get in my life, golf wise. And here's why. I mean, you have the 40-year anniversary of Seve's second win. It is his birthday, Easter Sunday. Last time the Masters finished on Easter Sunday, Sergio won it, right? And I finished on the kind of like the most Seve style finish you can figure out, right? I mess up the tee shot, hit it out there, pitch it close, make the putt, right? So walking up that fairway, those 50 yards to the green, the ovation I got and the approval and the feeling from the crowd was unlike anything else. The embrace was incredible, absolutely incredible. And I think it's one of the great things about Augusta is that they're aware of the history, they're aware of the tradition, and the feelings in the air are very palpable. Like it's unlike anything else. Very few places can get that. And, that's why I said it was the only time I've ever come close to crying on the golf course because everything was so overwhelming. But then, like Adam said, I tried to reel it back together because making that 3-footer was important. To finish with the par was very important to us. So I had to reel it back in, but it was incredible. I mean, to look around and see all those people standing for me was insane. And I'm hoping I can do it again because it's something that is addicting. You want to feel that again.
Yeah. I mean, I love how connected you are to the history of the game, how conscious you are to the history of the game. I think that's come, clear to people in the last 6-12 months as you've gotten out there more. They've heard you speak more. You've weighed in on stuff. I think that's a big part of the reason, you've felt more love is because for all of us, right, we love golf. We love the history of golf. We're fans of golf. And to understand that, this guy that we're watching, who's right now the best player in the world who wins the Masters, feels a lot of that same, energy and is conscious of that walking up 18 at Augusta. I think to the fans, that's really, really cool.
I think it can help, right?
Definitely.
I think being aware of that history and what's going on can be very empowering. I think it was certainly empowering to me.
It's cool. I think you're probably right. I wouldn't know because I'm not an elite level golfer, but I would imagine it would probably help.
I think it really helped me as well because all week, and I'm sure you guys did it too, but the whole media narrative was almost LIV versus PGA Tour, right? Like the whole thing was how's LIV going to do it when Phil comes up and makes a birdie on 18 and me and Brooks are going at it. I wasn't even thinking about that, right? Like it was very easy to think, never crossed my mind, right? I was so focused on hopefully joining my fellow countrymen and honoring Seve on his birthday that it never really crossed my mind. So in a way, in that sense, it was very helpful.
Barstool Sportsbook. Look, we're obviously Barstool people. I haven't skin in the game. I spoke a lot about the playoffs already, NHL playoffs. Blues didn't make it. Haven't skin in the game's the greatest. Elio is my guy. He's Mr. Ice. He's overs in hockey. We already mentioned that we're on the over tonight. I got the Barstool Sportsbook app right here. And I just went to, which I love this feature of the Barstool Sportsbook. I just parlayed the Edmonton Oilers over 6.5 and the Edmonton Oilers money line to win the game. I'm big on Edmonton. They're down 2-1. Obviously, McDavid, McJesus, people want to see the best player in the game make it, make a run, win a championship. That's kind of what elevates you. Everybody understands that. So I've got the Oilers. I just parlayed this bad boy. Edmonton Oilers are minus 167. The over 6.5 is minus 107. Parlayed that puppy to plus 200. Bang. That's what I'm doing today. The Barstool Sportsbook is offering, so listen up to this part, folks, now offering a $1,000 bonus for new players. So if your first bet loses, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash, $1,000 of bonus cash, plural. So download and create an account today. Use the code FORE, F-O-R-E, to unlock your $1,000 bonus. Be sure to use code FORE. Unlock your $1,000 bonus. Terms apply. Must be 21 plus. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. But yeah, we're all in on the Barstool Sportsbook.
And shout out to the happy couple that got engaged at the Barstool Sportsbook
Crazy.
at the Zurich Classic this week, which was presented by the Barstool Sportsbook, the official betting sponsor of the PGA Tour event in New Orleans. This lovely lady took a swing in our golf simulator, and she turned around to see her future husband on one knee, and she had the wherewithal to put the club back into the golf bag and then react to what was happening. They got engaged inside the Barstool Sportsbook tent. So love was in the air. Love is on the app. It's an amazing application. And that was a stunning one. I wrote on Instagram, I just wrote, no way. There's no way that happened, but it did. And I'm very happy it did.
Yeah, I saw that too. We've had some engagements at the Barstool Classic. We now have an engagement at the Barstool Sportsbook tent simulator at the Zurich Classic. So, like you said, there's love in the air. There's love in the app. Use the code Fore and make sure you unlock your $1,000 bonus on the Barstool Sportsbook.
We got to talk about the first hole. What the hell happened on the first hole? I mean, I bet you I'm seeing Jon Rahm. I kept saying Jon Rahm's a problem. We did our pre-Masters picks. Everyone's picking all these people. And I'm like, are we forgetting about Jon Rahm? This guy's going to fucking win the Masters this year. And then you just double the first hole. I'm like, well, that's over. I mean, are you thinking at that point, like, what the hell's going on here? Like, is this really happening? Or are you just like, hole one, they were fine?
It's hole one. If you're going to make a double in the tournament, you either do it on 18 and you have more than a 2-shot lead, or you do it on 1 because you have 71 holes to make it up, right? And no shade to Scotty Scheffler here, but if you're going to do it when it's the least meaningful, right? And yeah, I mean, I played the hole great. Hit a great 3-wood, hit a great 8-iron to the spot you're supposed to hit it. I saw Justin Thomas hit the putt before me, left it 4 feet short. So I was like, all right, don't be afraid. What people don't know is that hole was in a bit of a crowd. So if you hit it past it from any which way direction, it would go over a little bit more than you would expect. And I hit good putts. It's slippery. It's Augusta National. Sometimes the putting green is not as fast as the course. And that's exactly what I told Adam when we finished. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was pissed, but I told him, Adam, every single putt felt good. It was a good roll. It was a good stroke. It was smooth. Clearly, I got to get the speed of the greens, but everything else was good, right? Now, from that, I went to the Sebi quote, right? Because they asked him once, how can a player of your caliber 4-pass? Like, well, I miss, I make. That's it. I mean, it's simple as that. And the other thing that helped me, this I didn't voice to Adam, is I've told a lot of people at Augusta National, from my experience, if you're even par on the fairway on 7, if you hit your tee shot on the fairway on 7 and you're even par, I think you're in a fantastic spot. Because yes, you can birdie 2 and 3, but any one of the other holes, bogeys and double bogeys are lurking very, very, very easily. And the birdies on 2 and 3 are not gimmies. In fact, 3 plays over par for the week. So mistakes happen. So if you can somehow reel it back, right, you're not in a bad position. So with that said, I had a great tee shot on 2 and took advantage of it, and hope to make a birdie before 7. And next thing you know, I'm on the 8th tee. Actually, I'm on the fairway on 7, even par, and make a birdie on 7, and I'm the par. So, I think that the sequence of thoughts really, really helped focus and frame for the next, right? At the same time, it's almost like the weight's off. Like, okay, I just made a double. Nobody cares anymore. Let's just go and play golf. And in a weird way, it was helpful. In a very weird way.
I get that, actually.
Yeah, no,
I can see that.
I get that too, because we're bad at golf, and we find ourselves in some scenarios where we're playing in front of people. People have their cameras out. We know it's going to end up on the internet. You get a lot of hype, and Masters, there's more hype than any. There's so much chatter for days and days and days. There's a par 3 contest. There's Live versus PGA Tour, all that. Now you're out there. And we've been in moments where it's like I've topped my first tee shot or something, and then all of a sudden it's amazing. Like the rest of the round, every shot is easy compared to that, because you're like, well, I've already done the most embarrassing thing that I could do.
Exactly. I mean, it really is embarrassing for me too, right? Like, it's bad. It really is. Now, I also thought we've seen worse on the first hole. We've seen 6 putts, 7 putts. Oh, you know what? To an extent, it was one more. And it always makes for a good story, right? I mean, I finished my round. I shoot 9 under from the knot. And the first thing they tell me is, well, the last person to double the first hole and go on to win the Masters was Sam Sneaker, 1952 or something like that. I'm like, well, this would be an amazing story. There's always a way to make it change the narrative, right? And I think that birdie on 2 and the putt on 3 were obviously key for the dynamic of the rest of the day.
So we mentioned your guy Adam, who we had on earlier in the week. Have you any consideration to switching to yards to make our guy's life a little easier?
No, I thought he was going to talk about a story. He didn't talk. It's funny. No, and this was his idea when we got together. He said it would be easier for him to change than for me, and maybe be doubting my yardages, right? Ever. So he took the harder path in that sense. Now, again, early on the year, having to change the books at Pebble and Torrey and all the tournaments where we have 2 or 3 courses was a long time for him. He ended up telling me at first when he explained it to him, I was like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry." He's like, "Oh, don't worry. I got it figured out. It's 2 to 3 beers a night. It's okay." I was like, "Oh." Like, all right, you're making it sound okay.
He spoke incredibly kind of poignantly about the first tee in the final round and coming out really on Sunday and how he could feel something he'd never really felt before. And a lot of that was kind of what you talked about earlier, which is, the crowds really embracing you and the narratives and whatever everybody wants to talk about. Because we weren't there, we're watching on TV and obviously they're trying to paint the picture. Could you feel sort of the crowd support really in your direction in the final round?
I would say, and maybe I have different perceptions of these. I think for the first 2 to 5 or 6 holes, it was more towards Brooks. You heard a lot of Brooks, Liv, a lot of support towards him, right? And then I make that birdie on 3, he bogeys 4, we're tied for the lead, and then I take the lead on 6. And I don't think from 6 on I heard one comment about Liv golf. Now one. I think from then on I started hearing more about Seve, Spain, and me. And it was a complete 180. Like, not that they weren't going for me, I was hearing it, but it was from that point on. I mean, the crowd was 100% on me. And it was pretty incredible to see that. It was very, very incredible to see that. But early on, I felt it. Like I said, I wasn't really buying into the Liv and PGA Tour dynamic, but you're nervous. It is funny. Like that first tee shot, I'm on the tee, and I had no idea what to hit. Like not one clue. I'm thinking, man, do I hit driver? Do I hit 3-wood? The wind's here, the wind's there. I don't really want to aim at the bunker and have to hook it, even though the wind's off the right? Like it's a tough situation. And Brooks snap hooks it left. I'm like, well, we're hitting 3-wood, I guess. And that's how we started the day. But the dynamic was very unique, changing. I would say, on 6, it's pretty cool. Like I lose my train of thought because it was so emotional to think about something like that, right? Like to see a whole course and the whole crowd just change their opinion on me and just say, wow, here we go. And from then on, the more lead I took, the more support I had. And even when Phil and Jordan went on a run, they were still telling me and still remembering me. Again, they were still mentioning Seve and Spain. So my mind was more on that than anything else.
God, that's cool. I just think you've done, however it's gone down and for whatever the reason is, I just think over the last, like I said, 6 months, whatever it's been, I think it's come across so clear to people how authentic you are. And I think that right away, narratives about Jon Rahm, he's getting frustrated on the course or he comes off like a lunatic, wherever, that stuff, when you see it just in a silo, you can make your judgments about it. But then when you see it in the context of these interviews, these comments, you sort of connecting it back to the history and what matters to you, you see it in the context of authenticity. And you're like, this fucking guy is just a normal, raw, real guy who loves golf, wants to be the best, and is candid about stuff. And I think that people can't even help if they wanted to, but be drawn to that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's easy to judge a book by its cover, right? And what I mean is, all you see is what I do on the golf course. It's very easy to assume that I am the same person on the golf course and off the golf course. And I think I've mentioned it before in interviews that I'm very different off of it, right? When I'm competing, I'm there to do a job. It's more of I'm here to win, get the job done, right? And when I'm done playing, I'm done playing. It's normal life, right? I can kind of distinguish both of those, right? I'm not that intense off the golf course where anything is gonna make me go nuts and get mad or whatever it may be. It's actually quite the opposite. So it's been great to see the change, though. I don't know what to attribute that to. Obviously, a lot of people started paying more attention what I did of the golf course and what I said of the golf course. I think it all started when the whole thing with COVID and Memorial happened. I think a bit of compassion towards me, a wave of compassion happened, and then after that, people started listening. And that interview I did pre-US Open really helped, and after that, I think slowly started to change. And lately, it's been pretty amazing to see the difference, right? A lot of it too, thanks to you guys. I mean, that podcast I did with you early on the year changed a lot of people's minds that didn't know me really well, right? Maybe they hadn't seen other interviews I'd done, but they're followers of yours, and they truly saw a difference. So, in that way, I have to say thank you.
No, I think I think you earned it. I think when you do that show, you can't really hide when you talk for an hour and a half like we kept you last time. So it's kind of who you are and how you feel about stuff and how people are going to feel about you is going to come across one way or the other. So I think that you earned that, and you've just been you've been great. You've been great for golf. It's one of the great cliches we like to make fun of, but I think you're incredibly great for golf. Frankie likes to say this to some of our guys we have them on, but we're proud of you. Just like proud of you come over to this country. You're not from here. You're from Spain, and you have multiple majors now, and you ascend to number one in the world. You're a great family man, and you rallying millions of fans behind you. Like, just proud of what that takes. That's not easy,
Thank you. Now, with that said, it's incredible if I'm not worthy of having every single one of your guys' members in the freaking podcast. You guys are always cutting me short for some reason.
Not cutting you short. We like to be selective a little bit about who we're gonna present, what the conversation is going to entail. And so
I know Dan thinks I see him too much already. So for whatever reason, he doesn't want to ask me questions and those. But
Dan, to his credit, especially the first 10 that we had you on, we had our own little relationship with our comments on Jon Rahm. So we were like, dude, this is for me, Frankie, Trent. We started the show like we had been hard on you at times. We had called you a crazy person, a lunatic. So we were like, let's have this conversation. And then to Dan's credit, he reached out to me and said, hey, if you guys want to kind of have this be a continuation of the conversation you had before, I would totally get it. And so, we probably said that. So, I'm
man. Well, we said it last time. I said it was like a ticking time bomb. It was like we needed a bomb diffuser out there at any moment. At any moment, we needed to snip the right color. We didn't know if you slipped red.
It has to like that at times. I'm not gonna lie. It has to like that.
But we've already cleared the air. We already know that's what makes you, and no pun intended, that's what makes you tick. That's what makes Jon Rahm.
Nice. Listen, and that's why throughout my career has been very hard to change. Right, when you're not in the spotlight, that has helped me perform better, undoubtedly. I've said it a million times, and I'll keep saying it. There's been so many times. If the Masters is improved, where I start with a double, get mad and go birdie. I mean, it is part of sometimes, a lot of fire in my ass, and I get going. It's just when the spiral gets out of control that, you guys don't like it. I hate it. I have to see myself do it and suffer it. I absolutely hate it. So finding the middle ground is the important thing. That's all I can say. And again, I understand why you guys and many others have said what you've said. It's partly your job. It's my job to remind you guys that we're all human beings. It's not always the full picture. That's all I can say. But again, and I'll be the first person to make fun of myself. You kidding? Some of the things I've done. Oh my God.
That's it. And that's it.
Moron. And I'll tell you. And I tell Adam. Oh, there was once with Adam. Jesus Christ. He called me out on this. Is funny. We were at Riv a few years ago, and this is great about him because he'll call me out, and this is why it works. Like, sometimes I wish we were mic'd up, but 99.9% of the times you don't want to hear what we have to say.
We got to get you mic'd up.
But we're in Riv on the fourth hole, and I'm having a good day, and I'm kind of, starting in 10, and we're going on the back nine. And I'm having a couple bad holes, and for a Riv, super difficult par 3. The pin is on the left side short. I had this amazing 4-iron that just lands on the green and goes long. The most Johnny basic chip you can think of, right? Now, I hit this chip. I clearly heel it, comes out low with spin, and I leave it 10 feet short. Clearly. Everybody and their mother over there knew that I've done that, right? And of course, because I need to deflect, I'm going nuts. Well, because the Poana greens and the bounce, and can you believe this, and the line and the other thing. and we're walking down that fairway, 5 fairway after I think, I don't know if I made the putt or not, but we're walking down fairway, and I hit it on the fairway, and I'm still going over the last chip. Like, he's just so lucky, just and that and the other thing. And I was like, all right, John, let's be honest. It's a terrible chip. That shit was bad. And I looked at him right away, and I'm like, oh, you know this, didn't you? Like, I can't fool you. It's like, no. I was like, come on, man. Hit a couple good shots. Let's make some birdies, finish the round off. And right in that moment, like, it snapped, made me laugh. I'm like, okay, he can tell. I'm being an idiot. And then we went on. I think I finished top 10 that year. I actually finished that round off pretty well. So it's just funny that this moment like that, and like that, there's many. I may not remember all of them, but he's had to call me out a couple times, and it's funny as hell.
If you suffer from the symptoms of ADHD, lack of focus, no productivity, your brain is constantly wandering, you've all been there, we've all been there a million times, you need to check out Proper Wild's clean all-day energy shots.
I have it right in front of me. I'm going to show it to you right now in the YouTube version.
Please do.
Look at this. Proper Wild. It comes in this nice pack. I've got the peach mango, the clean all-day energy Proper Wild. I've had, so you can see, 2 of them are just empty because I've drank 2 of them. Oh, I think I threw the other one out. But I drank one right before the Islander game today, and I had one yesterday before golf. I've been a little bit sluggish. I feel like I came off like 3 weeks of being sick and just like out of it. The playoffs are running me down. We've been flying all over the place. We interviewed Jon Rahm. I took one right before that interview, and then I went to go golf. I'm telling you right now, it just makes you feel like you have this huge boost of energy, but then you don't get the jitters. Your heart doesn't race. You don't feel like you're going to have that really big crash at the end because it's all natural juice. It really just like it just like reignites that fire in you, and then you don't have that come down. And I've noticed that this is a huge difference. I don't like taking all the other stuff, the stuff that you would buy at like a gas station, or it feels like you're putting poison and chemicals into your body. I've always been against that. This stuff, I legitimately have been drinking like 3 days in a row. It's fucking awesome.
No jitters, no crash. This stuff is good. It's clean, no preservatives, no artificial sweeteners, no horrible chemicals, just a natural tasting energy shot with clean ingredients that work. So go on over to properwild.com/barstool to try Proper Wild at 30% off. So we got a great deal for you. And with Proper Wild, again, go to properwild.com/barstool for 30% off.
So we asked Adam what he thought was the most impressive shot that he saw of yours. And I believe he said it was Torrey Pines on the Sunday. Was it the 13th hole, that second shot that you had hit? He said that is the most was it 13? That was the most impressive shot he had ever seen.
First time you won there.
Yeah. And I have to ask you, I guess, the same question. What's the one top moment that you feel that he really saved your ass, or like you were like, I cannot believe we went with his decision and not mine, and it worked?
Well, there's been a lot of times, but usually is when I have some doubt in mind. Right? If I have some doubt in mind, I usually would ask him and we make a discussion. If I have no doubt in my mind, like at that moment at Torrey, which, by the way, he might not have been 100%, but he knew where I wanted to go with it, and he told me, screw it, hit it the green, right?
That's so
nothing
good
to lose. If I hit the lip, it's going to go in the fairway layup area. We had nothing to lose at that point, and he went with it as well. He sold himself short on that one, but that still is the best shot I've hit not on TV. Now, there's been many times, but not one time that I would say it was a big change, right? The one time that the dynamic should have been different, either I take it more seriously, meaning on the process, a little bit slower and do what he wanted me to do, would have been 11 up players in the final round. That would be the one time that we had a disagreement. You saw it on camera. People still say I blamed him. Like he said, I've never blamed him for anything in my life. Like, I fully acknowledge that it's my choice, not his. And we talked about it after. I told him, hey, man, not that you did anything wrong. I should have just taken my time. I rushed the second shot with my decision and hit it on the water. Whatever. Water on the bridge, we learned. But
no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Sorry.
No, it's funny because there's been times where I've listened to him and I agreed with them, and then things didn't go our way. But he's always there to help. That's the main thing to understand. I can't remember anything recently, that it was a big decision.
Well, it just proves the point too that you guys are such a team that like you can't even like you guys are like confident in every right.
Never been a veto where like no chance, do this.
Right.
we've always talked it out, and either he realizes that I feel confident, or I realize that he's right for the most part. So that was maybe a question for him. He might remember a few more than me.
Yeah. I'm sure he's got a couple written down. Like, he didn't believe me on this one.
I try to, every time he's right, I try to tell him, like, hey man, good call, thank you. Like, I try to tell him every single time. I may not remember every time, but I try to tell him. So the last one, he mentioned it briefly. My ego wanted to hit 3 with an 18 from, God knows where, nowhere land down there. And I just wanted to say, let's finish in style, right? Like, if I hit somebody in the crowd, hit it on the green, 2 putts here. He was right there, like, yeah, maybe you hit a 4-iron up there and wedge it on the green. Maybe it's enough. And I was like, yeah, okay. Well, my first thought is, I'm in 250 up the hill. I can just slice it real quick. And by the way, I'm going to be honest, because I was in the semi-rough. Had I been on the fairway, I think he can't talk me out of it. Like, if I'm in the fairway, I know I can slice it. I think I'm going for it. I don't know if he would have argued with that, but being on that rough, the odds of getting a straight knuckleball somewhere into 9 were very possible. So that would have been the one where, recently is that, okay, maybe I listened to you on this one. And he was right. He did say exactly everything, right? Like, let's finish this in style, let's make a par.
That's awesome. Next Champions Dinner. Do you already are you thinking about the menu items? Are you thinking about what you're going to present to the champions at your dinner?
I haven't thought of the whole menu yet. If anybody knows about Spanish culture and Spanish cuisine, we will have jamón, Spanish ham, Iberico, for sure. I think I know what dessert I want. It's from my hometown in Spain, and I will have the help of Jose Andres to facilitate a lot of the things for the dinner. He's helped. I think he did Sergio's dinner as well. He kind of goes into the kitchen and has his team help the cooks there, because a lot of things I might not know what it is. But in between, I'm not sure. I need to talk to Ollie, because we're from the same part of Spain, and see what he served in his dinner. I don't want to go too similar to someone else, and see how much I can pull towards my hometown, and we'll see. I have a wine in mind. I don't know if I have to pick from their selection, and I can pick something outside their selection. And I do have, again, the appetizer and dessert in mind, but I haven't put too much thought into it. The one thing I learned very quickly, because I was trying to be a smartass with Chairman Ridley, while you're doing all this interviews, one of the things you do is sit dinner with the members and take pictures with them. Right before that, they took us to the top part of Butler Cabin, to me and my family, to have some time, right? And Chairman Ridley was there, and again, I was trying to be a smartass, and I'm like, well, what's the budget for the dinner? And he looks at me, he's like, whatever you want, because you're paying for it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that changes things. Wow. Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was one thing I didn't know about it.
Wow. Yeah. They ding you for the dinner. I didn't know that.
But I get it. That's fine. Which makes me think that if we're paying for it, they'll let you bring outside stuff, I'm hoping.
I don't think did you know that, Riggs?
No, I did not know that.
That's breaking news,
unfortunately. I'm learning a lot of things about being a champion that, to be honest, I don't know if I can speak of or not. I don't know if I'm up or not.
There should be that stuff. We love that shit. Like, I want there to be hidden rooms. I want there to be things inside pockets that they slip you. And like, I want it.
Guys like us should know. Guys like us should know.
So usually this is what like when I'm in that cabin, this gentleman that works for Augusta sits with me. I'm signing some flags, and that dinner I mentioned, we sign menus, and the members take a menu home signed by me. And my manager's there. It's like, us 3 are going to become best friends for the next year. Anytime you have a question, ask me. And they send my manager basically a list of do's and don'ts. But it is, there's quite a bit of things. And, like I said, basically anytime, he said, we don't like the jacket making a public appearance without us knowing. So they need to know every time it makes a public appearance, there's an attire. There's some things you can and cannot do, and you have to ask permission for. It is pretty crazy, because in that first stories of people traveling with the jacket with them year round, I'm like, I don't know if they're going to turn, like, hey, I got invited to do this in 2 hours. Can I do it? They might not get back to you in time. I don't know. But there's definitely some rules that go with it. And you definitely have to sign a couple documents, acknowledging certain things. So it's pretty unique, and they protect the image of Augusta National so well, right? I mean, if you think about it, members don't get to take the jackets outside the premises for any reason whatsoever. So the fact that us champions can for a year is a luxury.
The golf capital of the world, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, plays host to more than 3 million rounds per year, and you should be part of that number. That's an amazing amount of rounds. 3 million rounds of golf.
Can't even wrap my head around it. When businesses and resorts and places like that start to get to those numbers, I really don't understand how they do it. Like I think about that with Apple and Google. It's just like when you start this company, did you ever envision that your numbers were going to get so astronomically insane? Like Amazon, imagine those packages sending out. Now all of a sudden, if you're play golf Myrtle Beach and you start like picking up all these golf courses and you're like, we're going to make sure we get all these tee times and guys down there. All of a sudden you start getting to like the millions. Think about how many things could go wrong when you're starting to deal with millions of rounds of golf.
3 million rounds of golf.
3 million rounds of golf. Like how many complaints or just like slow play complaints and guys getting drunk. It's just like that's an absurd amount. And for it to keep up its quality, for Myrtle Beach to still be the number one destination for golf buddies trips, and they have the most top 100 golf courses in their area, like for that to continue and have that much traffic. I mean, dude, when Eisenhower gets like a full tee sheet, it feels like the world is ending. I mean, Myrtle Beach has 3 million rounds. Are you kidding me? It's seamless.
They also got Caledonia Golf and Fish Club and True Blue Golf Club. They're Myrtle Beach's highest ranked golf courses, and they're must play. Both are ranked among America's top 100 courses you can play. They're designed by legendary course architect, the Maverick, Mike Strantz. He did Tobacco Road as well, and these places are just as good. They're phenomenal. So you're going to love it. Go visit CaledoniaGolfVacations.com. Plan yourself a trip. They got condos, villas on the golf course. You can also stay on the beach, on the water like we did. You can't get a better value in travel golf than this. Myrtle Beach has been named America's favorite buddies trip destination for good reason. So again, visit CaledoniaGolfVacations.com to book your tee times, plan a stay and play package, and to get more information about 2 of America's top 100 golf courses. That's CaledoniaGolfVacations.com. I loved when the segment I saw when you were on with Colt and Drew, where you talked about all the different rules of the green jacket, and like you can't be seen drinking alcohol with the green jacket, and some of the rules, which like Frankie alluded to, I love that. Like I think that should be part of it. Of keep, as much we're into listening to music and the future of the game and all that, but we also all love that there are cherished rules and traditions that everybody abides by. I also think it's, when you kind of mentioned they bring you up in Butler Cabin, and that it's got to be such a whirlwind that moment in Augusta, kind of realizing how much of a whirlwind it is and offering you that opportunity that night to kind of soak it in a little bit. I imagine that must have been a great part of the day.
Well, it's really cool because like if you haven't been a champion, I haven't asked about the process. You don't realize how much there is to do after you win, right? There's so much. You do the interviews, you go to Butler Cabin, you do the whole thing with Jim Nance and the chairman and the past champion and the Loam, and then you have the ceremony and the speech, right? When they give you a little, hey, remember this people, make sure you thank everybody else, and then do the press conference and the dinner. There's so much going on that makes it it makes it a very unique evening after a win. Now, with that said, there's 30 minutes with the family to take some pictures and have a drink and have some food was incredible, right? The fact that they take time, and my whole family was there with me, and it was really, really enjoyable, right? I thought it was really cool they did that for us, and I'm assuming they do it for everybody. I'm hoping they do. Then they invite you, they tell you the members want to have dinner with you, and that's another speech. It's really incredible how that evening goes, right? You're tired, but it's really, really fun because you're part of a club that is so selective, not only the champions, but that being part of Augusta National, that is so unique. And when the members welcome you and they congratulate you on everything you've done, it's pretty incredible. Now, my favorite part was going to the champions locker room. I wasted no time. The second I had 5 seconds, I'm like, hey, you guys got to take me up there. And they were very, very, very gracious, and they took me and they took Kelly and my dad, my dad was there, and we went up there and we saw the balcony and we were looking down Magnolia Lane in the dark. And took a couple of really cool pictures of me and my dad. I mean, my dad was over the moon because to be honest, I don't know if I'll be able to take him up there again. And to see the champions in the locker rooms was very unique. That's probably my favorite part, to be there with my family and my wife and dad celebrating something that is so special.
Wow, got the chills.
Wow. That's just chills inducing. That is so cool. That's the coolest thing anybody could ever do. And it's so well deserved. It's awesome.
I can't wait till next year when park in the Champions parking lot. That is gonna be. But it's gonna be one of those things where Monday I might be up at 4 a.m. just to make sure I'm the first one there. I'm just gonna be in the Champions locker room like this all day. I guess he was coming in.
It's me.
I know myself. I'm gonna be so damn excited about the whole thing that it's just my whole routine is gonna go out the window.
That's what people love about you, man. It's not like this robotic thing. You're like, I'm gonna go sit in the Champions locker and be like, welcome in, boys. This is our spot.
It will be a little weird because they have like a showcase, right? Like when I got there and saw it, they had Scottie Scheffler's Sunday shirt. They also give you on that members dinner, they have like this picture collage that they make like right away. I mean, within 2 hours of being over, they have a bunch of pictures explaining or showing the whole week. So they had that for Scottie. I guess you need to donate a club that you think, was more impactful or helpful for the week. So Scottie has his Lobwich there. They have a whole showcase, right? So I don't know if I'll be sitting next to that because it'll be a little weird. But it's pretty cool that they celebrate a champion like that. I don't know if it's there all year round or just the defending champion week, but it's really cool how seriously they take it. And if you ever get the chance to go in the clubhouse, all those clubs are exposed for people to see. It's so unique, and then you get to see, right? I mean, you have Baba's wedge from the hook shot on the trees. Some people leave driver, putter, whatever it may be. And they're all there. It's really cool. I think they're gonna ask me, and I think they already asked. And we're shipping that 8-iron I had on 14 without a question. That is going out there. It'll be the original one. I'm not gonna give them a fake. That's gonna be the one I used, and that's gonna go there.
Where's that
amazing.
shot? Where's that shot stack up for you? Just in all-time kind of memories and difficulty and execution.
Very high up there. Very, very high. The semi at Augusta, the little rough they have, there's a lot of questions, right? Like if it was thicker, I would know it would come with no spin, probably soft. I probably need to run it up. But there's questions that, okay, I know I can hit it high enough with enough spin, right? But there's always a doubt of double just knuckling dead straight and being in an absolute dreadful spot. So even though the wind was helping me to hit that shot, not pulled it off, obviously it's amazing, but the fact that it came out exactly the way I ever visualized it was incredible, right? That doesn't happen very often. And to see that shot start exactly where it started, low, left of the green, fading towards the one tree I could see in the middle and then releasing towards the pin was absolutely amazing. That is very high up there based on the things I've done. I think the shot on a Torrey that Adam talked about is better. I always put a couple of them, like my tee shot against Tiger on the Ryder Cup on 17 after losing the 16th hole to a very narrow fairway is up there. The putts at the U.S. Open are obviously up there. But circumstantially, to take a 4-shot lead going on the last 4 holes, this has to be really high up there. I don't know why people haven't talked about it enough. Part of me wishes to not hit the tree on 18, so that shot would have been talked about more than it is, because I feel like everybody's focusing on the 4 putt and the last tee shot on 18 more than anything else. But that has to be top 3 up there.
Yeah, that was a big moment. That one kind of where it felt like, all right, this thing is looking pretty good.
Well, according to you, it's already done, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it was a little more stressful moment, maybe people would have remembered it more. But it's, the other, I also, the stress-free thing, I mean, it's a credit to, we were rooting for you. We were on Jon Rahm's side. We were Vamos. We said going in, we were all Vamos all day.
Well,
and then we would have appreciated if, Brooks Koepka wouldn't have rolled over so much. I just would have appreciated those amazing shots that you hit to get a little bit more love, a little bit more stress down the stretch. That's all I'm saying.
I don't blame you guys for thinking that way. I mean, it is a lead, and I'm playing good. To Brooks' credit, though, what he said in his press conference, he did hit some shots that were on a very small margin. I mean, his shots in 6 and 9 were inches from being birdie putts, and both of them turned into a bogey, right? So, but that is Augusta National. Right, that is what it is. It is kind of how it happens. But yeah, I don't blame you guys for thinking that way. I've had people even tell me when I hit that draw on 13, that tee shot on 13, that it was over. I was like, Jesus, I wish you guys could have told me and just pack it in. The reason why for us is not even close is because, listen, after that tee shot, a bogey on 14 is very possible. You want to avoid a mistake on 15, not make a stupid bogey. 16, if I relax and hit it to the top, I'm 3-putting most likely. It's very hard to putt, right? So bogeys can happen. And as we saw, Brooks birdies 15, 16. Luckily, he missed his tee shot on 17. But if he puts a tee shot in the fairway, 3-shot lead, and I miss, we're talking about a completely different tournament. So that's why it's stressful for us, right? For us, is because you're in the situation of what could be in that case, right? But I understand why you guys probably not thinking. Obviously,
I mean, as fans, we'll always like not be able to put ourselves in the shoes of the person maintaining the lead. Like it's almost like in baseball, the closer comes in with at the end of a World Series game, and he's got a 5-run lead, and you're like, this thing's over. And I think if you ask that closer, you try and get 3 outs in the World Series right now. Like, it's not over. I could easily give up 3 singles, a home run, and all of a sudden it's a 1-run. You know what I mean? Like, that is, if you ask the person in the situation, for sure it's nerve-wracking. For sure it's stressful. You're thinking about every single shot. But for us, we're sitting back. I ate like 2 pounds of prosciutto that day. I was eating deviled eggs. It was Easter. I mean, I'm sitting down eating. We're praying at the table. I'm watching Jon Rahm making freaking birdie putts and par putts all day. I'm like, this thing's over. I'm cashing out my Barstool Sportsbook already. I'm like, I already won. You're on 15th. I'm like, he won. He won the Masters. But yeah, obviously, if we put ourselves in your shoes, you're not done until that last putt goes in the hole.
I think as a player, right, you don't want to be on the wrong side of history in that case, right? You don't want to relax, because what people don't realize is how small the margin on 16 really is. It was playing into the wind. We're hitting 6 irons. I've hit 9 iron to the back pin before. Right? We have 6 irons in hand. And that 17th tee shot is a very underrated tee shot. It's extremely difficult into the wind, into the wind of the left, right? I mean, you could not think of a worse wind for somebody like me in that case, or anybody that's right-handed, right? So that's where our thought comes into play, where it's like, well, what could be a lot of bad if you don't think about it properly, right? So because it's the Masters and it's so close to becoming a reality, obviously Adam and I are at a level of intensity that you guys probably don't have. But whatever.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
Yeah.
No, and look, at the end of the day, like, my whole thing was, I said Brooks Koepka ruined the Masters. Brooks Koepka made the Masters. He had an unbelievable performance with all the negativity about LIV, and him to go out there and play that well. I saw all the photos of you guys laughing coming down the stretch, despite the fact that Patrick Cantlay took 45 years to play, 9 holes of golf. So the whole thing was
bathroom that Austin, apparently.
Yeah, would you say like 9 trips to the restroom you took or something?
He said 7. I counted 5. Okay. 5. Well, okay. I mean, I'm nervous. What the hell? And if I'm going to be waiting, I'm going to do stuff that I don't want to sit still on the tee box like on 16. That picture you guys saw was after me going to the bathroom. So we're still waiting.
So yeah, it was an amazing performance by him. I couldn't even imagine if you gave us, I tweeted out when you were hitting your second shot on 18 from the rough from 250 out, I tweeted out like, could normal people win the Masters from there, from the point you were at? And I think most of us would not be able to win the Masters from there.
Actually, I mean, that ball sliced a good 20 yards. Listen, if you're confident you can carry the bunkers from there, which were maybe 120 to carry, straight into the window. If you're confident you can carry those bunkers, you don't need to fade it, because all you need to do is carry the bunkers, and then you have within maybe a 130 to the green from fairway, because it's all fairway in that area. I mean, you just hit the spectators, and then you just hit it up there. But I know I'm making this up. You see, a lot of people can make a disaster, because then you go in the front bunker, which is deep as hell. Now you have problems. A lot of people wouldn't get it done. A lot of people would come in within a shot, make a triple real quick out of there. A lot of people might hit it to the right trees and then create more of a stress. I mean, it's not easy, but I was fairly confident in that situation. I was just hoping we wouldn't make it through.
We got an exclusive ticketing partner, and that is game time. There's nothing better than going to games. We got playoff hockey. We got playoff basketball. We got MLB is back. All kinds of hot action shows. I'm looking at all these. I'm a big country fan. All kinds of country musicians are coming to town. They're touring all over the place. There's comedy shows going all over the place. Game time, Frankie. You got to get in there and you got to use game time to do it.
Yep, I've been going to all these Islander games. There's nothing better than an event. The lights go down, the music comes on, the team comes out of the locker room. You feel like you're a part of something. It's memories. It's something you're going to remember for the rest of your life. In the New York area, we're just revving up. Huge concerts coming up. I know Bruce Springsteen just came here. Billy Joel's on Tuesday at MSG. It's just, Blink-182 is coming to UBS and Brooklyn and MSG. The summer's going to be incredible. Nickelback is coming to UBS Arena. There's a
Big
lot
Nickelback
of
guy.
Big, huge events. Obviously, sports are never going to stop with Yankee games and everything. And obviously, wherever you are in the country, Game Time's going to be there for you. I use it. My family uses it. It's the number one code that is requested via text message between my friends and my family and me, where they say, "Oh, you have that Game Time app? Like, what's that code you guys always push?" And I'm always telling them what the code is because they genuinely use it. It's Fore, Fore. They genuinely use it. They use Game Time because you need to get tickets. You have to get tickets if you're going to go. And why wouldn't you?
If you're going to go, you need tickets. You got to be able to get in. Download the Game Time app. Go to the website, enter your email, redeem code FORE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The purchase process takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds once you buy your tickets. They're delivered directly to your phone, so you skip the hassle. You enjoy the moment. Use that code FORE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
One of my favorite hypotheticals we've ever done was could I win the Masters if I started on the edge of every single green? I was putting one.
Regulation?
In regulation. No, just like my tee shot was on the edge of every single green, the beginning of every single green at Augusta. And I genuinely don't think I would win.
Will I get to pick where the ball would be?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no chance.
Isn't that insane?
Nah. I don't think you realize I had a
chance.
I had a 4-putt and 2 3-putts that week and still won by 4.
Fuck.
Jesus. And you're Jon Rahm. We're Frankie and Riggs.
You would putt it in the water more often than you think. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
You put me on a point and I'm hitting my first ball on every single hole. You're 560 yards away from me. And you think I still have no chance. And I agree with you. We said I don't think I even come close.
Well, it is hard to do it on one, right? Depends on the year. I think people will be very surprised at how high a score they would do it.
Yeah.
Like there's literally a lot of pin positions, and in a year where the green's a little firmer and fast, where us would have a very small chance of 2-putting. Like that happens. That can happen. And I had a friend of mine ask me if they had unlimited mulligans playing from the tips, if they ever would win the Masters. I'm like, we'll never know because you wouldn't finish. I mean, you would be there for the rest of your life. Eventually, you get tired and move on forward, right? Like it's just, you can't put yourself in that situation because it's very few people get to play Augusta National, and even fewer people get to see it in tournament conditions and the pins that we play. So it's hard to say those hypotheticals. Now that I think about it, if it was in regulation, right, on 3 on a par 5 and 2 on a par 4 and 1 on a par 3, I would say absolutely no. If you're laying 0 on every edge of the green, obviously, eventually you might have a chance. You might 2-putt a couple and you're making eagles. But I don't think you'll shoot nearly as low as you think you would shoot.
No, definitely not. Dude, I was thinking like the 9th hole.
Are small enough where you could, though. Like 18, you could 3-putt 18, right? That's a birdie, right? 1, you can easily putt it off the green. 2, you can easily putt it off the green.
Right. Once you're off the green, it's not. It's over. It's go zone. Now it's over because I would assume in this hypothetical you got to keep using a putter. Like, what if you end up
on 3? You would be screwed if you putt it off the green on 3 and you go down that low and you still have to putt it. You might play ping pong for the rest of your life.
Right.
I know I'm exaggerating, but there's definitely a couple cases where you would be over par on the whole couple.
6? That green's a nightmare on 6.
They brought on those dude perfect guys. They should let us do this. They should let somebody do this. It doesn't have to be us. I want to see, because everyone always talks about like, you guys have no idea what the greens are like. Let an amateur go out there and see what they're like. I want to see. I want to know just how insane they are, because it feels like the TV's not doing it justice.
I can give you guys a story. I play with a really good friend of mine. Great player. He's a +3 handicap, okay? Great player. And we played Augusta National, and every single day he putted off the green and won. 3 rounds. Every single round, putted off the green. And the greens were rolling 2 or 3 feet slower than they usually do in competition. Every day he putted that ball off the green.
Is he just looking at you like, what are we doing here?
Well, I just knew it was going to happen. That paid the diabolical spot. He was trying to make his birdie putt or par putt, and every day he hit it a foot too fast, and that's just see you later, gone. And the caddies were the same caddies every day. We're all laughing pretty hard because he was funny. That's just it happens. It's underrated. It's very underrated. Like it as a challenge for us is amazing. Number 9 is another one. I mean,
yep, that tiger putt.
Yeah. I mean, and if in the wrong year, it's not like he's rolling those 5 yards. You've gone 40 yards, right? It's pretty crazy.
I have to ask you before we let you go. Our friend Josh Isner, I'm going to ask you to rate his workout performances because you guys work out at the same gym. 1 to 10, what would you rate his workout performances in the gym?
I didn't catch a name. Would you say
Josh Isner, who you guys work out in the same gym?
Was different level of output.
Okay.
You can say one's an athlete and one's not. You're allowed to say that.
Yeah. I mean, he's really, really good at what he does.
He is.
By the way, he made it sound like Harvard was an easy school. I don't know if that's true or not, but he's just that smart. I would say it was easy.
I'll let you guys make your own judgments. I was a recruited athlete, so it's a little different, but that's okay.
Well, speaking of someone being super smart, I have a couple questions for you right before we leave, and it has to do with a show called The Big Bang Theory. So I don't know if you have your...
No, give me a second. So he puts in the work there, obviously, but
okay.
A lot of times when I'm there and we're just, if I'm there with me and Spencer, and we can get him distracted very quickly. It's funny. But in that process, I get distracted too. So it happens to everybody. Otherwise, no, he's there putting in the work. Nice to see him.
All right, good.
All right, Jon Rahm, I've got 2 questions about the Big Bang Theory for you. When we had you on last time, we asked you that question that we have a show called The Dozen Trivia Show, and our niche category from one Trent Ryan is Big Bang Theory. He got the question wrong when it came to Hulk hands, and whatever the answer ended up being, I want to ask you this question right now. In season 2, when Leslie Winkle ends her casual relationship with Howard, where do the guys take her to cheer him up?
Howard?
Yeah.
Vegas.
Correct. Okay. And I got one more for you.
You guys okay?
Will Wheaton appears twice in season 3. First in a card game tournament, and then he faces Sheldon's team in what sport/activity?
Faces Sheldon team. Hold on. You said the first one was a card tournament?
Card game tournament. Will Wheaton, he appears twice in season 3. First in a card game tournament, and then to face Sheldon's team in what sport/activity?
Oh, you might got me stumped in this one because there's a couple of things. Sheldon's team. I don't know. Because they do. I don't know if he makes it in paintball. I don't think it was paintball. Because I remember the card game that was early on. Yeah, I'm a little stumped in this one because I can't tell you exactly what season every episode is. Dungeons and Dragons has learned it later on. God, this character is in and out a lot. It's not on the trivia team.
Nope.
Jesus Christ. I should know this. I feel like I have it in mind, but I can't think of it.
Want me to give it to you?
Yeah, because the card game is Warlords of Kaha or something like that. One of those weird things.
The answer is bowling. He faced them.
Oh,
bowling.
That's right. God, I forgot about it. That's right. The Wesley Crusher. Jesus.
Trent stumped him. Trent stumped him.
No, this wasn't a Trent stump. This was the trip. We got the question. I think Trent didn't get that correct either. He said that was a very difficult one.
No, now that you mention it, yeah, it's just when he starts throwing seasons, and I'm like, God, I don't remember the seasons.
Yeah, and listen, you're incredibly.
That's right. Yeah, the Wesley.
You're incredibly knowledgeable when it comes to Big Bang Theory for a Masters champion. You got to be the one. That's got to be you're one of one in that category of.
I mean, listen, I love trivia. I remember the most random things. I don't know why Kelly hates it. I mean, it is. It is something, like I said, it's like my sound machine going to bed. So it's A lot of times I put it on the iPad and fall asleep like that.
We're gonna come up with something. We talked to Jeff, who's the host of the Dozen Trivia. We're gonna figure out how to do a golf trivia show where it's gonna be you and two of your partners, whoever you want to pick, and then you'll face off against three other guys, and we're gonna do strictly golf history trivia. And I think that would be amazing for our fans to be able to see just how knowledgeable you guys are when it comes to this sport.
I was going to say, do I need to pick golfers that know about golf, or do I just pick other athletes? Because I'll make
you can pick whoever you want. You can pick golfers, you can pick athletes, whoever you think will be the most knowledgeable in golf. We'll keep it very golf centric. It's going to be hard questions. It's going to make you think. You'll be able to kind of deliberate with all of your teammates, and you'll have 30 seconds to answer each question. And you're going to face off against some tough guys. We're going to get 6 guys together. It'll be great.
Oh God, I'll find out. I'll do some research on Tour about who likes to know what. There's one in mind, but the problem is he's not gonna do it. Like I'm a team right now. It's like I got Phil Mickelson on the team.
Oh yeah,
it would be if it's just me and Phil. It'd be very hard to beat because he's one that knows more.
Phil likes us. I think Phil would do it. He likes us.
I think Phil would do it.
He's the only guy that knows more dates and everything than me. Like it's because he's been playing a lot longer, so a lot of times he remembers. He'll be tough to beat.
All right.
I'd love to see Jon Rahm versus Phil Mickelson one-on-one trivia.
I have no chance.
Oh, he's that good?
Wow.
Golf? Yeah, very, very little chance. Very little.
All right.
We're going to make it happen. We'll figure it out. We'll find out the best the format and whatever. I just think golf fans, I think like it alludes to what we were saying before, where it's like, I think it just adds to your guys' personality, just how much you care about the sport. I think a lot of times when we watch professional athletes, we feel like some guys are doing it just for the money, and some guys are just doing it just because they're good at it, and like they just want to go home and not play. And like to be able to see that you guys love it as much as we do, and like you geek out about the things that we geek out about, it makes you feel like it's like one of our buddies just making it. Like one of our buddies is just a Masters champion. It's crazy.
One of my favorite things. One of my favorite things, if I could do it. I mean, I don't have the time with the kids anymore, but when I'm home, and maybe when it's the off season a bit, and they have on Wolf Channel the world's history makers or things like that, like they have those historic rounds. To watch that, I mean, I'll watch the whole broadcast. And when I go back a lot of times, and I don't have 5 hours or 4 hours now, but watch like Sunday broadcasts of the Masters, 1 hour summaries of past majors. I love watching all that stuff. To me, it's amazing. I love the game so much like you guys watching. I'm a fan. So like I would easily sit down at 6 a.m. on my couch and go round after round after round nonstop till it's bedtime. Very easily, not a problem.
So
think about how many kids are going to watch you now on the Sunday round for the next 100 years. They're going to go on YouTube or whatever crazy technology comes out in the next 100 years, but they're going to watch Jon Rahm's Sunday round at the Masters, and they're just going to study it. They're going to see every single shot and be like, that is freaking awesome. I'm going to go to sleep watching this. I can't wait to get to Augusta one day.
If there was an equivalent of film watching in golf, I would lead that category for sure.
I mean, I do the same. I got to tell you, those early 2000s ones, 01, 02, when Tiger went, the names on those leaderboards and how David Duval and Ernie Els, how they didn't win a couple of those Masters, when you go back and watch those, you forget because it's just Tiger Woods' name every time. But it's like the top 4 guys in the world are all within a couple of the lead going into the second 9, and it wasn't stress-free. And it's so fun to watch when they're out there and they're all going back and forth. It's incredible.
So for people that don't know this, in 04, when Phil teed up with the lead, his first win at the Masters, Ernie Els was in 14T with a 3-shot lead. Phil hadn't putted on 12 yet. He ended up making that birdie putt. And he didn't even go to a playoff. And I don't think he made a bogey. I think Phil just made birdies. He birdied 12, 13, 14, 16, and 18, right? That's when I say a 3-4 shot lead, maybe he's not that big a deal to you guys. But it is, right? I've seen enough of these things disappear. Well, I mean, a couple other ones are great. Ollie in 99 he's got a 1-shot lead, I think it is, over, I don't know if it's Larry Mice or something like that. Just playing with Norman and stiffs it on 16 to like 4 feet, makes birdie. Right? I mean, there's so many great finishes. And I would encourage anybody to go watch, because the golf course played completely different to what it is now. They had narrow fairways, a little firmer greens. It's a lot of fun to watch. Those early 2000s, those names is what you said. I mean, how VJ, Ernie, Phil himself, David Duval, and a couple names that come up and down. The fact that that Ernie doesn't have 4 jackets and Greg Norman doesn't have another. 6, because he was for 15 years. Greg was in the top 5 on the final day every single year. It was absolutely insane.
It's crazy,
incredible. Nick Faldo there, it's insane. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm passionate about this. I love the game so much. I watch all of these. Same with other majors.
Our next partner is Athletic Greens. AG1 gives better gut health, sustained energy, immune system support, and is a great supplement that actually tastes great. I just got my shipment in yesterday of Athletic Greens. I cannot wait. I've seen all the great athletes, now myself included, have one thing in common, is to take care of their bodies. So I'm so excited that everyone that uses Athletic Greens loves it. I'm going to be drinking it every single day, mixing it in my water. I cannot wait. AG1 is so much more than just a green powder. It's all of your key health products in one. That's why AG1 empowers the gut for the whole body health. Every daily serving, you are setting yourself up for success both on and off the golf course with 75 high-quality ingredients that give me key daily nutritional and long-term gut health support. So make sure that you are getting Athletic Greens. You've heard Joe Rogan talk about it. Every time he's talking about Athletic Greens, it makes you feel like you're going to be Superman. So I cannot wait to try it. If a comprehensive solution is what you need and for your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So go to athleticgreens.com/4playpod. That's athleticgreens.com/4playpod. That's Athletic Greens. One more time, athleticgreens.com/4playpod. Check it out right now. Make sure you do it. $3 a day, less than $3 a day. Pretty good. Pretty damn good.
What a great Masters champion you are. Can't believe how much time you give us. We really appreciate it. We love having you on. We love when you're talking. We love when you do the broadcast. It's just you're the guy in golf right now.
Yeah,
so,
how was that? Did I do okay?
Great.
Everything I said didn't happen. That was amazing.
That's what happens that's what, I did enjoy the Cantlay when you're like, there's no way he's going to hit this off the top of the wood. And then he just hit an incredible shot. And you go, oh, that was pretty good.
See, this is the thing. That's why, like, in person, you don't, like, unless you're there and seeing the ball exactly from his point of view, you can't tell.
Right.
You can't tell. Commentating is incredibly difficult. The only thing I could provide as someone who's just played the course is a bit more fresh perspective about what's going on than anybody else. That's about it. I'm looking forward to doing it again. I'll definitely do it again. Hopefully at some point I can have more time and, because that time I had to get back to the kids and go home and all that. So hopefully I can do it at one point and have a little bit more time.
No, you were great. You were natural up there. That type of insight, especially the guy just won the Masters, just finished the course, you just can't beat that. So that's like a cheat code out there, and you were great at it.
I'm pretty sure once I retire from golf, I'll be in the booth, 100%.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
You're golf
I've always
nut.
said I think I will. I love the game too much to not be doing it.
Trevor Immelman says that it gives him the same like juice that he got when he was playing, like just like the nerves and the pressure and having to articulate the right way that he's thinking about a shot to people that may not know how to like interpret what he's saying. And it's just like, it's an intellectual like activity as opposed to a physical one, but man, it's gotta be such a good feeling to be able to be a part of the product that you guys love. And we've talked to him about it. He loves it. He loves it so much.
And it's very difficult for them because you can't appreciate the lie of a golf ball on camera. You really can't on the rough or anything else. You can't really see the wind gusts and the changes. They try their best to paint a picture, and it's very difficult. As you guys saw, I couldn't, not even close. And I had just played the golf course. So it's very difficult to paint that picture. They do an amazing job. It's hard to do. Very hard to do.
Yeah, impossible. I mean, in golf, you have to fill so much time in golf. So they do a great job. Trevor's awesome. But yeah, and your English is great. You got the nice little Spanish accent to it. So I think you'd be a nice draw up there.
Yeah, you're a winner, man.
Thank you.
Jon Rahm, the Masters champion. I can't be thankful enough for you coming on doing this and just being a fantastic ambassador for golf. And like we said earlier, we're proud of you. You're the man. You're doing it very well.
Proud of you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate the words. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Now, will I get the whole display next time we do this? Everyone will be involved?
100%.
We're going to
get every single person.
We're going to get our big guy Lurch. You're going to love him. We're going to get everybody involved.
There we go. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.